sit back and relax as we listen to one of the many special voices from our community. On this episode of This Place, Our Voices, with your host, Elyssa.
We're joined by Holly, founder of the Higher Frequency Healing Coach, a company which helps people with their wellbeing and holistic health through sound, meditation, energy and music. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before we get into everything to do with higher frequency, please do tell me about Illuminate.
Illuminate is the first event of its kind that we've ever run, and the venue that we're hosting it at St Mary's, it's the first time they've ever had anything like this as well. We've been using St Mary's now, and we're very privileged that we get to use St Mary's as a home for one of our incredible events, which is typically a sound wave ceremony, which is a beautiful sound bath, a very beautiful meditation experience for people to come in. But as a festive exclusive, we are transforming this event into a light show as well. So we are opening the church to the community to give them the opportunity to come and sit in the church, feel festive, get prepared for December, and to see the church as a community in a way that they've never seen the church before, illuminated with a beautiful light show. It's going to have lots of undercurrent therapeutic aspects to it, so it will help people to feel better. It's not just a lovely visual spectacular. It's going to have a lovely, like I say, an undercurrent experience where people can tune into feeling calm, release anxiety, release stress, because there will be sound therapy going on in the church as well. So it'll be a higher frequency method sound bath and music therapy session as well. So the lights will be synchronized with the tones, with the sounds of the music that we'll be playing. And this time we're advertising it as a bit more of a family experience as well. So normally people come to our previous events as a solo thing because it's a very inward journey that people go into, with it being a sound bath previously. It was a very eyes closed inner process. But this time, because we have the visual sort of spectacular thing going on as well, I feel as though it would be suited to more sort of younger audiences as well. So if there's any teenagers or older children, we're saying roughly about 12 plus, but if children are into this kind of thing who are slightly younger, they would be really welcome as well. But it's a chance for them to come and benefit from the therapeutic effects of what we're providing, but in a way where they wouldn't get too restless or bored, because it's going to be such a visual spectacular as well. And some of the music that we've picked for this festive edition is a little bit more suited to a varied audience. So there's a little bit of Disney-esque going on in there, and it's really different to anything that we've ever done. It'll have all of the same side effects to those who've been and want the same the same effects that they normally walk out with. It'll have all of the same side effects and all of the same lovely positive results of feeling calm, coming back to centre, walking out feeling better than you did before, going off and enjoying your daily life feeling a lot more grounded, a lot more positive, a lot more free from the stress that you were carrying. But it's also a really lovely, like, family feeling event to just charge you up and feel positive and feel the love as you go into December, feeling refreshed and ready to take on that really heavy, busy season. You know, it's the 27th of November, and I think that's the perfect timing to help people to fully recharge and refresh and fill themselves up to optimum sort of levels of energy and health so that they can cope with the demands that December often puts on us.
The setting for Illuminate as well is just amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Just thinking about it now, I've got goosebumps running all the way down my spine. And people who don't typically go into St Mary's because they're not religious and they don't practice Christianity, they're welcome to come into St Mary's for the events that we offer. You know, they're not religious. They are strictly sort of relaxation only. And it is sound therapy. It's not associated to any kind of religion or spirituality, so people don't need to worry if they don't have a strong sort of faith or belief system. They're still really welcome to come and feel the beautiful feeling that the church has. You know, it is a place of worship, and it is a place of where people go really regularly to pray and to have hope, and that does have an energetic imprint on that area, if that makes sense. So
absolutely.
as an energy healer, you know, I am obsessed with energy, frequency and vibration. And because people are going in there with such a positive, pure intent of having faith and hope and love and praying for all of the positive outcomes that there could be in the world, that does leave an energetic imprint. And whether you are a person of faith or not, you can't help but feel that when you walk into a place of worship. You know, that's why everybody, whether they're religious or not, always feels that when they walk into one of these lovely places, whether it's a temple or a church or somewhere that's, you know, a sort of historic place, whether it's a stone circle or something like that, these places where people have gathered in a mass way to pray, it does leave a really, really positive feeling in that area. And when people walk into the church, however they are inclined with their faith or belief system, they always feel this immediate sense of relief wash over them. But then with the added layers of what we offer, the music and the tones, the singing bowls and everything that we do, this very multi-layered experience, it just brings people into this place of surrender, where they can just sigh that relief, and they feel like this beautiful feeling within. And everybody who walks out always comes to tell me or my assistant who works with me, that was just beautiful. That's the most common word that we get from people as their feedback. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And that is the experience that they're having without the visuals. Yeah. That's just that, you know, eyes closed, going within experience. I can't even begin to imagine what it's going to be like when we've got the added beauty of the light and the colours and all of this lovely visual spectacular going on in there as well. It's going to be incredible.
Not long to go either.
Not long to go.
Only a few weeks. And this is why you are my first guest on this podcast, to make sure that we can get the time to get some tickets sold. So where do people go to get tickets?
Eventbrite. Okay, so there's various ways they can get to the Eventbrite link. They can either search the Higher Frequency Healing Coach on Eventbrite, or they can go to the Higher Frequency Healing Coach's Facebook page, and it will be on there. It'll be pinned at the top of the page. Or I have a link tree, that is the link tree. I think it's linktr.ee/higher frequency healing coach, and all of my links to all of my events are on there for the Higher Frequency Healing Coach. So there's lots of different ways. I'm sure if you googled the Higher Frequency Healing Coach, it would come up there as well. So
I'll make sure that the link is in this podcast description as well. So
brilliant.
If you are interested in getting some tickets, be quick. Is there a limited amount of people that you can have?
Yes. So those who come with us, we normally have between 50 and 80 people in that church for a typical high frequency sound wave ceremony in there. But I envisage that there'll be a lot more coming to this event because we're opening this for seated capacity as well.
Right.
So previous events, it's just been floor space. People bring all of their mats and sleeping bags and blankets and cushions, and they create their own sort of therapeutic bed on the floor. But there's going to be a lot more people wanting to come to this event because it is a little bit more open to the family. So what we've done to keep it fair is we've done VIP access for floor, which is a slightly higher price ticket, where people get first access to go and choose where they want to go. So I'm guessing those tickets will be filled up quickly by our regulars.
Yep.
And then we have the standard admission ones for floor space, who will go second entry into church and go and find the remaining spaces on the floor that are still free. And then we have the same tiering ticket system with the seated pews as well. So we've got the VIP first access to go and find what pew you want, and then standard admission for the pews seated access as well.
Definitely, if that's of interest, don't delay to get your ticket. And the date again is the 27th of November.
Yes.
So today will be the 12th if you're listening to this on its first day of release, so you haven't got long. Hopefully those tickets will go fast. Absolutely. Yeah. So just tell me a little bit more about the Higher Frequency Healing Coach as a whole. So where did this all start for you?
Okay, so I've been working on this mission, not exactly how it looks now, because as with any business and any intention that you have to want to help people, it always changes as you grow over the years. But I set up my business in a slightly different form 5 years ago, and it was from a place of anxiety. So I wanted to help people with anxiety because I was an anxiety sufferer. I was really debilitated by my anxiety, and I do think it held me back. I couldn't do normal things unless it felt safe. Like I could, little things like at the time, I don't have these done now, but at the time I was having like the lash extensions, and the thought of going into a salon to go and have lash extensions was terrifying. I could only go somewhere where somebody had been before, or perhaps I'd been with them, so I knew the salon, because everywhere felt really intimidating to a severe anxiety sufferer. Everywhere felt intimidating to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create this service where people didn't feel intimidated. So anybody who resonated with me, anybody who had similar kind of social anxieties that I had, I wanted them to have something where it felt really accessible and safe because they were coming to somebody who has been there a million times before. So 5 years ago, I set up what was House of Holly. And it was holistic therapies and beauty and makeup and eyebrows and things like that. So it wasn't just the inner work. It was, at the time, it was the outer work.
Yeah.
So people had a treatment room to go to that felt safe. They were going to a fellow anxiety sufferer. And it all started from there, where I just wanted to help people and create something for them so that they didn't have to go without all of the little beauty treatments that they were too afraid to go and get in a normal salon kind of thing that felt too posh, too intimidating. No, I can't be around those people. It was a bit too scary for me. So that was the whole point of it. And this all started about 3 months before COVID, and it started doing really well. I was getting lots of people coming to me who were anxiety sufferers. And at the time I was doing facials and, as I say, the beauty treatments and makeup and things like that. And I loved it. But COVID came and shut me down, obviously, and I'd left work. I'd thrown myself into this full-time straight away. So COVID was very, very frightening for me because I had literally no income. I'd left my full-time job. I hadn't submitted my first tax return yet, so I was getting no support from the government either through the COVID grants.
Yeah.
I was literally left with nothing. So I had to do something to distract myself from the terror of what am I going to do with no money. And I thought, well, I can either go into victim mode and cry and make myself really ill over something that I can't control, or I can do something really positive that helps me to feel like I'm giving back. So with all of the skills that I'd developed on the holistic side of the business and all of the training that I'd been going through for the previous year or so, I thought, I think I've got a natural talent there. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go online, and I'm just going to help people for free with mindfulness meditation. And at the time I was using Reiki energy. So I was I think COVID was such an essential part of my business because I started doing these free online sessions to help people with their anxiety through COVID. And it was really, really successful. People were coming to me every week. So I would go live on YouTube at 9 o'clock every Monday night, and I would do a 1 hour free sort of meditation and healing session using Reiki energy and a guided meditation that was to release stress, anxiety, fear, worry, and to just help people to feel calm and peaceful at a really, really frightening time for people.
Yeah.
And I did this consistently for free every single week for 9 months.
Wow.
And it did attract quite a little bit of attention. So the Sentinel were getting in touch with me over in Stoke. I'd got the local BBC radios getting in touch with me. I got a Making a Difference certificate from the BBC Radio Stoke saying that I was committed to the services of the local people in Staffordshire and Cheshire. And I just thought, this has just happened out of nowhere. This is meant to be. I think this is where really my business should be going. It's focusing on helping people on the inside. So once we recovered from COVID and we could open back up again, I completely shut down the beauty side of the business and focused on purely self-development with people, working with the mindset, working with their ability to feel better. So that's where I just threw myself into every modality possible that would work with people's mindsets, belief systems, anxiety, stress, trauma, inner child, all of this kind of stuff. I just went hell for leather on that side of the business. And that's where I then completely, straight after we opened from COVID, I changed the name to Higher Frequency because it was all energy healing at the time. And then that then developed into sound healing and putting on meditation classes in person, which was lovely to be back with people again. And I was delivering meditation and Reiki classes all over Stoke-on-Trent and a little bit Cheshire way as well. But I started burning myself out. I was doing too many of these little classes everywhere. I think at one point, as well as all of my one-to-one clients, I was delivering at my most 11 classes a week. And I was starting to burn out. So I had to pivot and reevaluate and thought, for me to help people to feel better, I can't do it from a depleted place at all. So that's then when I was like, I am not doing these classes every week anymore. There's something more that I can do that will be less frequent, that will have even more power and even more impact. And that's where the sound wave ceremonies came in, because I can get more people in one place and they can receive an even more powerful result, because even more, there's a scientific sort of study where you get more people together with the same intention, it has a bigger effect.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So getting 80 people into that church, all with the same intention that they just want to feel better, they want to get rid of the stress, they want to get rid of their anxiety. They only have to come to me once a month. We're there roughly monthly, and that serves them for the month until they're due to come back again. I feel better, they feel better, and it's just scaling and scaling and scaling and growing from there. It's been an incredible journey, it really has.
Yeah, it sounds it. And I'm really, it's admirable to sort of listen to how you self-assessed where you were as well, and how you changed your business to suit you better, but how it's also suited your clients better too.
It's a win-win situation, and that's always the intention I have with everything that I do with my work. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
How would you say that you overcome any critics or skeptics that you experience along the way?
Which I do have quite an extensive experience of. Which, you know, I invite them in. I love it. They're my favourite people, honestly. So back in the day where I was running the smaller meditation classes, I would have partners bringing their partner along who was suffering incredibly with overwhelm and stress and burnout. Typically, it was a woman bringing a male along. Not always the case, but mostly. And, you know, wives worrying about the husbands who are overworked, burning out, and it's really affecting their mood and their relationship and all of that kind of thing. So when I would get somebody walking in who's kind of been dragged along to a class and they're like, I don't believe in any of this, I'm just coming along because, you know, I want to keep her happy or whatever, I'd be like clapping my hands going, well, you're here. You are my favourite type of person, because I know when you walk out the door in 1 hour's time, you will no longer be a skeptic and you will no longer be a doubter, because you would have received something from it. And yes, that always happened. I do get trolled quite a bit. We do attract some people online that can say negative things about the work. And there's some people online who perhaps don't understand fully what we do, especially the work that we're doing in the churches. And I just want to use this as an opportunity to say to anybody who's worried about the work that I'm doing in the church, it is beautifully therapeutic, mindfulness, relaxation, meditation. It's purely just using these instruments, these sound therapy tools to help people to connect to a feeling of calm. We don't do anything more than that. I am so respectful of the church. I respect the laws of the canon, and everybody who comes into the church has the same level of respect as well. Nobody's doing anything in there that's considered to be woo-woo or anything like that. You know, we purely respect the church. We have an incredible relationship with the church. I've even had a meeting with the bishop to make it really clear what we do in there. And the rector's seen what we do in St Mary's, and it's wonderful. And anybody who does get worried that we're using the church and perhaps thinks that we're disrespecting the church, I would just love them to come along and have an understanding of what it is, so that it can put their worries to bed, and they can see that we're just really pure, genuine people that just want to help the people in community who are suffering with anxiety. And sadly, they don't have a faith or anything like that that can support them with their mental health. This gives them another tool instead.
Absolutely. And I think if the church had a problem with it, you just wouldn't be allowed in.
No.
So the fact that they're giving you the space to do this just shows that they are giving you literally their blessing to do it.
They are, and it's because they care about the community, whether they're faith-based or not. They genuinely just want to help the community, and they see this as an incredible vehicle to reach out to those extra pockets who wouldn't normally be able to help.
So you've got the event Illuminate coming up in St Mary's, which is a great taster session for people if they want to come along and see what it's like. What a place to start. Is there anything else that people can do that perhaps they can do in the privacy of their own home just to see that what it's all about?
Absolutely they can, If they go onto the Facebook page, if they scroll through, I have been known to do sort of free stuff, because I'm very passionate about doing free stuff. That's how this business, sort of exploded from, was my commitment to helping people for free. So every so often I will put free content out there. So if you scroll through the Facebook page, I've done meditations and sort of energy healing sessions and things. Perhaps you wouldn't get that kind of content in the church, but people will be able to connect with me personally that way. Just put their earphones in, listen to the live, and just close their eyes and see how they feel at the end of it. It would have cost them nothing other than that little bit of time that I'm really confident that they will think is time well invested. Because it will really help them to feel the positive side effects of being present with yourself and just opening your mind to new possibilities.
What proven benefits does your work bring? Obviously, you've got the mindfulness and the dealing with anxiety and, sat in front of you now. I would never have said that you were somebody that suffers with anxiety at all. Is there anything else that you've experienced with the people that you've worked with that the benefits have been really obvious with them when they've come back to you?
So I really should write down and have a book, a Bible that I can go back to and sort of recall all of these, but they're all up here, they're all in the mind. So there's so many over the years, miracles, really, really miracles that I describe. Somebody else might want to use a different term, but to me, I feel like it's a miracle. So back in my earlier days of opening up after COVID, I had somebody coming to me who was constantly using crutches, couldn't walk unaided, and just after a few sessions, crutches were gone.
Wow.
Never used the crutches again. So there's real physical benefits to this as well. Like when you put yourself into this deep relaxation, your body has the ability to self-renew and repair. And this is what this work does. If you're consistent with this level of relaxation and you allow your body to go into this deep state of relaxation quite regularly, your body can repair. We do regenerate, and that's what happens. So most recently, the client that I've been working in a one-to-one basis, and this has been online as well, she hasn't even had to be with me, this has been an online client. She started her course of treatments with me, rating her back pain as it was a 10 out of 10. She was in excruciating back pain. And after one session, her back pain has gone down to a 2 out of 10. And the only reason why she's given it a 2 is because the 7 days since I saw her from that first appointment, she had 5 minutes on one of the days where she felt like it just locked slightly, and she just had to sort of sit for 5 minutes, and then she could get up and it was fine. But that was the only pain she'd experienced in that week. So that's the reason why she logged it as a 2. And then another example, the same client was suffering from horrendous exhaustion and fatigue, like debilitating, where she couldn't get through the day without having to nap. And it was really, really quite depressing for her because of how strong the fatigue was. It's horrible feeling tired and then not being able to sleep at night either. She rated that as an 8 out of 10 for how discomforting it was to her and how stressful it was to her. After that first session, it's gone down to a 0.
Gosh.
Because she's sleeping at night time, she feels refreshed in the day, and she's not having any naps anymore. She says it's just completely gone.
That's definitely a result.
And that is the power of this work. It's not to be taken lightly. When you have that intention with yourself that you want to feel better, and you allow yourself to believe that you can be better, and then you just allow yourself to go into this relaxation, it's always guided. It's always guided. You're not expected to lie there in silence and be without thought. That's not how it works at all. And these events are completely guided. So I am the people's guide. They're not expected to just sit there thinking I'm going to either be really bored or the thoughts are going to be racing. It's not going to work for me. I promise that I really, really do know what I'm doing when I'm holding people in space. So all you have to do is trust me. Have this little desire inside of you that you want to feel better, and allow yourself to believe that you can feel better. Putting yourself into this position where you allow me to put you into relaxation and allow the different therapies to run with you, you will feel a significant improvement. And I could go on and on and on about other benefits, but it's always sleep. People who are doing this for the first time, one of the first things that they notice is they start sleeping better. They just have a renewed sense of positivity about them. Rather than being in what we call like victim mode, they turn into this more sort of optimistic person that can see the positive side of things rather than focusing on the fearful, sort of negative side of things. And they see things from different perspectives all of a sudden. The relationships start improving. They're becoming less triggered. And I could go on and on and on, but I don't think we've got enough time.
I think even just from experience, when you've not had enough sleep, people can be a terror, can't they?
Yeah,
so
it's miserable. Yeah.
Even if you'd think, oh, well, if all this is going to do is going to give me a better night's sleep, that's a massive win.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard a quote the other day, and I believe it was from Paul McKenna, and this was, you could be the wealthiest man in the world, or woman, you could have billions in the bank, and you could go and buy yourself the most expensive luxury bed in the world. But you're not a wealthy person if you don't know how to sleep in that bed. Somebody with a very modest amount of money, with, the modest house, if they can sleep at night, they have got wealth.
Very, very true.
Yeah. If you don't know how to sleep, life becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meditation is something that I would say everyone is aware of. Whether they do it or not is a different thing. But I don't think sound baths or baths, depending on where you're from around this area, are that well known. It's something I've heard of. Do you know the history behind the, I don't know the correct terminology for them, I do apologise, but the bowls that you use?
So I use the crystal bowls, okay? I've got some Tibetan bowls as well. I use the chow gong, we've got the chimes, the rain stick, the ocean drum, the shamanic drum. But all of these types of sounds that we create, they're ancient sounds. It's not a new thing. It's not, I know they're becoming a lot more popular now, but it doesn't mean that this rise in popularity is because they're a new thing. This is ancient technology that we're using. So if you go back to the prehistoric ancient civilizations, sound has always been used to pray, to feel better, to regenerate the body, to call in the gods and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you think about didgeridoos, or if you think like ancient tribes in the Amazon chanting, the vibrations from the vocal cords, music, chanting, sounds, vibrations from these types of instruments have been used for thousands of years. And it's definitely not something new. And it's something that the human race has been benefiting from for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even as you were saying that, you think of all religions and hymns.
Yeah.
And music is always present.
Yes.
It's just maybe used in a different way. So are they Tibetan then? Is that the origin of the bowls?
Yeah, you can get Himalayan ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so any of the ancients will have their own influence on sound healing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can only, hopefully I won't have to just imagine, because I am hoping to get tickets to Illuminate. the reverberations around the church, because it is built in a way for the sound of people singing.
Exactly, the acoustics in there, and that does always get commented on as well. It's the perfect place to have a sound bath because the acoustics in the church are purposely to carry the sound, like the angelic frequencies from the choir and things like that. They do resonate through the church so beautifully. They really do. And I'll just give a piece of advice here for anybody who does want to book a ticket. I think there's only about half capacity left of the VIP tickets for the floor space. So anybody who wants to come and pick their own sort of floor space first, be quick with those tickets because there's only about half of them left. But if people like sound baths, they need the VIP access because they'll be closer to the instruments in the centre of the church then. If people prefer a more silent, gentle sound bath, they will be okay with the standard admission tickets because they'll be more towards the back or the edges of the church. So it depends what your preference is. I always say a sound bath can be a bit like a massage. Do you like going to a massage therapist who does it really, really firm, like a really deep sort of sports massage, or do you not like a nice light aromatherapy massage? If you like it deep and firm, be closer. If you like a nice light aromatherapy, be further away. You'll be okay with the standard admission ones.
Illuminate specifically, is it suitable for everybody?
It is generally, yes. There's just because of the sound therapy element of it, there's on the Eventbrite, you will see this clearly anyway. There's just 3 groups of people that we have to say it's not recommended for. And that's people who suffer with epilepsy, especially if it's sound induced. The first trimester of pregnancy, okay, it's just not worth the risk. And anybody who has a pacemaker fitted for the heart. But everybody else is welcome. Young children might not be suitable for it. That's why we've put about age 12 plus.
Yeah.
But we do have children younger than that who are really into mindfulness, really into meditation, who are welcome to come along and enjoy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, Holly. It's been enlightening. I'm really excited about this event. And
Thank you.
All going well, would you be doing another one? Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow our Facebook page, This Place, Our Voices, where we share updates, highlights, and more ways to connect with our community. And don't forget to follow This Place, Our Voices on your favorite podcast platform and leave a review. It really helps others to find us. Be sure to join us again to hear another voice from our community. Let's keep coming together, honoring our voices, and making this space truly ours.